All right. So with that down, on to the next thing. Let's get into some DCU stuff, guys. I'm, anybody who's seen any of my videos, I'm a huge fan of this DCU. I love where it's going. Yeah, with the little shakeup with Netflix coming in, I'm curious how it all works out. But if you allow James Gunn and Peter Safran to continue what they're doing, I think that they got the right formula, the right plan in place to truly make this a successful universe with some of these awesome characters. Well, next thing we all know this year, we of course got a few projects. Next thing that's coming out for the DCU is of course Supergirl. Now, Supergirl. I'm going to talk about it another time, but Supergirl has me a little worried at the moment. I want to like it. I want it to be good. But I do have worries that it's not. But besides that, I next thing we got Lanterns, and then we're of course going to get Clayface. But another anticipated project of mine, I'm curious when it was coming, is Creature Commando season 2. If you haven't got a chance to see Creature Commandos was the first thing that James Gunn put out for the DCU. It was an animated series, introduced a lot of cool characters: Frankenstein's Brian, Frankenstein himself, Weasel, GI Robot, a lot of cool characters, right? Well, the way that the show just kind of orchestrated itself, it has Rick Flag Sr., who of course shows up in Peacemaker and Superman, and he's an established character that's going to show up in a lot of different projects. And so you're like, all right, we got Rick Flag. When are we going to get some of these other characters live action? Well, I'm just excited to get another animated season of this, Creature Commando season 2. So James Gunn actually came out today and was like, hey, this is when it's going to take place, and just a little update about what we're getting from Creature Commanders season 2. So this one's kind of, this is basically, like duh when it comes to where it takes place. So he pretty much says season 2 in the DCU timeline, it will take place directly after season 2 of Peacemaker. Makes sense. But however, the way Peacemaker ended, right? Will any of those things orchestrate into the storyline for season 2? So that's got me interested, right? Because the way season 2 ended for Peacemaker was, one, checkmate was established, pretty much like another group, like a Argus type of deal. With we got some good characters, and you see all how that formulated, and then we end up getting Salvation. Now, Salvation was introduced at the very end, and then Chris himself gets thrown on there. But if anybody's familiar with, the Salvation Run series, it's pretty much going to basically be a prison for metahumans. Well, what is Task Force M? They're pretty much all metahumans, right? So it's really interesting to see how or if that has any correlation in season 2. Plus, we also get the introduction of Captain Atom. Yes, so of course, Captain Atom. Anybody who's unfamiliar, Captain Atom is just this really cool character for the DC, and he of course is going to be introduced and in season 2. So, and it eventually all is going to lead to a live action, which I think is going to be even cooler, especially with some of these characters. I can't imagine seeing some of them in the live action and what it would look like, but it is inevitable. And I'm excited for Creature Commandos season 2. But if you haven't got a chance to watch Creature Commandos, first of all, go and watch Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is really fun. I think it's like 8 episodes, and it's really touching. Hell, the last episode might even make you cry, I'll be honest with you. But go and check Creature Commandos out, and it all makes sense, and you'll really see what James Gunn and them are doing. And it's really fun to see come to fruition. And then, of course, I always love to speculate and talk about it. So, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Are you excited for Creature Commando season 2? For those who've seen it, and for those that haven't seen it, go check it out, man. It's going to be fun. But that is it on the Creature Commandos. Now, next thing that I wanted to get into, it's basically DC again, right? And this is something that was announced by DC Studios, an adult animation series announced for Mr. Miracle. Now, this is, of course, from the Hollywood Reporter. So, a new series follows Scott Free, the world's greatest escape artist, known to the world as Mr. Miracle, whose perfect life with his warrior wife, Big Barda, falls apart with their two home worlds. Apocalypse and New Genesis go to war, and Scott's cruel adopted father, Darkseid, appears to have captured the ultimate weapon, the anti-life equation that will give him total dominance over the universe. Now, we are getting this in an animated series, okay? And it is going to be an adult animated series based on 12 issues that Eisner Award-winning comic writer Tom King and Arthur Mitchgerd. King is executive producer and showrunner on the series, which is currently in production. Now, this marks, of course, the second adult-oriented project behind Creature Commandos. The James Gunn created series is currently in production on a second season, which you just talked about. Other recent animated series orders for the DC include Starfire, The Adventures of My Adventures with Green Lantern, and DC Superpowers. So James Gunn has a few projects in mind, but we're also going to get a Mr. Miracle. And I know that it goes on to say, I believe that this will be included. This will be canon for the DCU. So really interesting to see, man. We got some animation, we got some live action, and they're all going to tie in together. It's really interesting. That's something Marvel has not done, which I think was a pretty brilliant idea on James Gunn's part, right? Because animation doesn't cost as much to do, and you can still make some really cool, compelling stories. Look how popular anime is, for instance, right? But really cool stuff there. So Mr. Miracle's coming, along with the Creature Commando Season 2. So we got a lot of DC stuff coming up here. Plus we got the Green Lantern series, Supergirl, Clayface.